This is the snail, and it's a key idea for my idea called Law of Onion. Various things have come together in this snail. The reason I've been thinking about onions and snails is because of my gardening project where I had a large front garden that was all gravelled, and it was playing on my conscience, so I decided to take it up and create a herb and vegetable garden, like a potager. And of course it's lots of work, but it's kind of been a labour of love, because as I've been doing it, I've been exploring a lot of the ideas that I've had. If you like, sort of finding myself through the plants. I've always loved herbs and flowers and things like that. But also in terms of the design, I've been trying to incorporate some sort of what you might call kind of esoteric ideas. So it's quite a circular design to the garden. And I've tried to discover where a few of the ley lines and things like that are, and it's just been fun. I just sort of experiment and see which things look right and feel right to me, and at the same time as exploring on the level of the garden and the plants, and often learning about the nature of life through the interaction between, you know, the insects and the flowers, and the interaction between the soil and the plants. But as well as that, it's been it's kind of an emotional therapy, and I'm kind of it's kind of running in my mind into all of the sort of emotional metaphors and ideas, and so that is why I had the idea for the snail. We've got the snail, the body, which also contains the emotional being. We've got the conch, the neocortex, which of course is the part of the brain that human beings have, but the other animals in the garden don't have. And also known as the consciousness. We have the antennae, which link to the invisible realm and in a sense are the spirit. We have the lining, which is almost like the mother of pearl inside a shell. Its health kind of will indicate the entire health of the organism. So in a way it's like the interface between the organism and the environment, a bit like the membrane of a cell. It's a bit like the subconscious, because it's at that level of the lining that the snail is most easily influenced, because the lining is invisible. The snail doesn't realise the lining is there until, by using its consciousness, the snail becomes aware of the parts of itself and how they can interact. And then here we have the footprint, which is the snail trail that we see in gardens and very often go, oh, that means we've got snails, because snails are not popular creatures. Sometimes I think humans are not popular creatures. And the footprint is the visible sign of where we've been, and it's like our karma. And it struck me that often in the emotional body, this is felt as shame, because we often feel ashamed of mistakes we've made, and so we refuse to acknowledge them. But in a way, by having a visible footprint, it forces us to face up to the reality, and then I think the technique is to deal with that with acceptance and forgiveness. And I'm going to talk about that a little bit more just in another video. I wanted to talk about some sources that I've been reading and thinking about that have given me that idea. So this idea of the snail is a sort of model, and it also links into stories, music, kind of, in my mind it's a whole piece. But I think it'll take a little time to develop along with the other projects I've got. And also I don't want to rush it, because it's very important to me that the work that goes into this is reflective of what I feel is the reality that I want to present in as pure a way as possible.